So here we stand, 17 games remaining in the regular season. Padres are 81-64. They are first place in the National League wild card race, 1/2 a game ahead of the Arizona Diamondbacks, 80-64. Diamondbacks avoided getting swept by the Astros at Minute Maid Park yesterday. Pavin Smith. Did you see this?
3 home runs.
3 home runs, 8 runs batted in. 3-run homer, grand slam, solo home run in his first 3 at-bats. I went back. That's 8 RBI. Pavin Smith had 7 RBI from the end of May until yesterday. And he had 8 in his first 3 at-bats in this game yesterday.
What a day.
Where these guys come through, I have no idea. But the Diamondbacks actually have been struggling a little bit lately. They're 4-6 in their last 10. Padres are 5-5. The New York Mets finally lost. 9-game winning streak came to an end. Thank you, Cincinnati. Reds beat them with 2 in the 9th, 3-1. They are 78-65. They're 2 games behind the Padres and tied with the Braves for that 3rd and final wild card spot. The Braves won in extra innings, 2 in the 11th, to beat the Toronto Blue Jays 4-3 and take 2 of 3 in that interleague series. So after that, the Cubs are 5 back. So it's pretty much down to 4 teams for 3 spots. And I see the concern out there from Padres fans. And there certainly is an absolutely believable, logical way where the Padres can miss the playoffs, even with a 92.4% chance of making it. Because if they continue to play 500 ball, which they have over the last 2 weeks, essentially, they're 5-5 in their last 10 games, they will end up right around 89 to 90 wins. Now, that's usually, in fact, every single year, that's been enough to make the playoffs in the National League. But the way that the Braves and Mets and Diamondbacks have been playing, those teams don't need to play out of their minds to get to 90, 91 wins. If they play a few games above 500 and the Padres play 500 ball, you could end up 4th out of those 4 teams and miss the playoffs at the end of the year. Remember, though, when there's only 4 teams involved and there's 3 playoff spots available, even if they were all tied at this moment, that would mean every team would have a 75% chance of making the playoffs. So that's the baseline here. 3 of 4 would be if you were absolutely tied, and that was it. The Padres, though, have an advantage. They've got a 2-game lead over both the Mets and the Braves. And guess what? Mets and Braves still have to play each other this year. So they can't both be completely hot the rest of the season, which means that the Padres just play decent baseball, not otherworldly baseball. Just keep winning most series. You can even drop a series here or there. Should be more than enough to get into the playoffs. Plus, they still have 3 games against the Chicago White Sox left this year, which are no guarantees, but those you'd rather have those games left than not have those games left. They also have tough games left. Astros, Dodgers, Diamondbacks. So, you're not expecting to win every single game the rest of the way. But the Padres remain in really good position. And
the catbird seat.
That's why Fangraphs has them where they are. They don't just sit around in a room and say, well, I don't know, I think the Padres are 92.4%. They factor in remaining schedule, strength of team, everything into that equation. And they say, play this season 100 times, Padres should make it 92.4% of the time the rest of the way. It's a good spot to be in. Better than the other 3 teams.
It's I'm not overly concerned, and I think I said last week I'll be really concerned when this team drops 3 in a row, 4 in a row. Now they're on the verge of dropping 3 in a row if they go out and lose to George Kirby tomorrow night. But I learned this. I think it was 2 years ago here on the Ben and Woods program. Remember when we said we did on our Christmas and holiday extravaganza? We did the air your grievances. Remember that? Guy called in. It's like, I love you, Woodsy, but stop telling me how to fan. I'm going to fan how I want. And I went, all right. And I filed that nugget away. And I know I can be guilty of it at times. I tried really not to. Your experience is your experience. I'm going to tell you from my perspective. This team has earned my trust. They've done nothing to lose my trust. I have seen a remarkable effort from this team all year long. I also know the ins and outs of how a baseball season works, and while I didn't say it, it was early back in April, May, and June. It was early. I didn't want that message out there, because that message was really pervasive the year before. And it was like, we'll catch up. We'll get there. I wanted to have a sense of urgency, and I wanted the guys to. And they have. Boy, have they ever. They've had remarkable comebacks. They've taken care of business. They've beaten good teams. They've played their asses off. They've had injuries. They've overcome them. They, in the dog days, right after the All-Star break, Benny, they went on a monstrous run. They've earned my trust. I trust them. That's what I'm telling you. That's how I feel.
Even in the games that they've lost
recently, still fought, man.
They've been right there. I mean, they had a 3-0 lead in one game, and they gave up a grand slam to lose it in the ninth.
I was there.
They battled back yesterday. They nearly pulled off the win. Even the one they lost on Saturday, which wasn't one of their better games, it took a weird 2-home-run day from a number 9 hitter.
That kid, by the way, has got 5 home runs and like 19 at-bats. He's like one of their uprising.
Yeah, he's been hot.
He's not going to be batting 9 for them forever, right? So he's one of their up-and-comers, I guess. Good player. But again, the Kurt Casale one probably hurt the worst yesterday. That was the one that shouldn't happen, but can't really fault Alec Jacob there. Guys out there grinding. He's now your new long relief man, inexplicably, but he is. Guys have stepped up all year. Guys have earned my trust. I trust them. I believe in them. I'm going to continue to believe in them.
And I also believe in them for when things get to the postseason. When the Padres have to win a game and they're putting their best bullpen forward and their best lineup forward in every single game, I still believe they're going to be very hard to beat under those circumstances. Now, they're not going to win every single game. It's baseball. But they've put together what we said on the roundtable last week, a team that doesn't have any glaring weaknesses and has a lot of strengths at this point. The biggest weakness right now is the injury at shortstop and what they're going to do. We talked about that. They may address that by tomorrow in Seattle with some changes in the lineup. But for the most part, the pitching rotation is in a good spot. The bullpen is in a really good spot.
And you can be concerned about the pitching rotation, certainly. And you can be concerned about not getting a ton of length, the weird things that have happened with Dylan Cease, his start a couple starts ago where he comes out and walks 2 guys and they end up scoring and they got him off the hook that game. You can be concerned about his start on Saturday. You can be concerned about Joe Musgrove's weird, whatever that was yesterday. Sure, I think it's okay. But there's also enough positives in there that should get you to kind of even it out.
None of the pitchers, including Cease, are showing signs of velocity dipping or all of a sudden their pitches just aren't sharp. They've thrown some down the middle that have been hit. That's baseball. That's going to happen. But there are no obvious signs of giving ground. There's no obvious signs that they've run out of gas and there's nothing left in the tank for the end of the season. Michael King looks great. Yeah, a little concerned about Yu Darvish and how quickly he's going to get back. Tomorrow will be an important day, I think, for Yu Darvish.
He's had one start.
But he's only had one start coming back. And, I still have a lot of faith in where this team is going.
As do I. And I do think they will make the playoffs. I'm not overly concerned about it. Like I said, I'll get concerned if they start to really hit the skids. And, look, the thing that probably made me the most concerned was Jackson Merrill fouling a ball off his knee. And when he hit the deck, I went, oh, God. And I absolutely, he played one more inning of center field. And I was talking to Buddy, and he go, well, he's young. He needs to start. I go, not against Logan Webb, he doesn't, who's going to be riding that 2-seamer in on his hands all night. He's going to do it again. The right time to give Jackson Merrill a night off, I think, was Saturday.